Welcome to Bubble's Immerse Demo Day. As you see, Bubble is the most powerful no-code and visual programming platform in the world, and we're excited to have you here. Vivian, I don't know whether you want to go the deck. Hurry up, thank you. All right. So Immerse exists to solve one of the biggest hurdles for POC founders, which is, of course, build their first product. So before we get into the details of Immerse and the program, I'd love to just introduce myself and the leadership. Oh, sorry, next slide. Yeah, there we go. So Yao, who's our program director, of course, myself, I'm the lead instructor and also co-founder of No Code APIs, and Kira Bryant, our awesome program management intern, and our other instructors, Will Erickson and Rob Roberts. Thank you so much to the Immerse leadership that, of course, we wouldn't be here without you all, and Vivian, who's going to be our, driving all the slides and getting all the technical stuff ready for us. And then our judges for today is Emmanuel, of course, co-founder and CEO of Bubble, Navi, head of technology at Antler, and Erica, founder and managing partner of Reinventors and 1,000 Angels. Emmanuel, do you have a few words to welcome everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be here for the second edition. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for showing up. I see we're already more than 180 people, which is like a very high number. That's really, really great. And I want to thank all the participants for going through this program with us. This is something that we started about 9 months ago now, and that is very core to what Bubble is about. I mean, we started in 2012, generally speaking, thinking that technology should not be accessible only for people with deep pockets, because engineering is a very expensive thing to afford. Like finding engineers is very expensive, except if you were life made you exposed to code pretty young, or if your best friend from high school knows how to code. But it's not the case for most people. And what we wanted to do with Immerse is expand that a little bit more practically to some particular categories in the population that we know are exposed less to these kind of things, whether investors, deep capital pockets, or coding education. And so we did the first session of this in December last year, and it went great. And so I'm really excited we do that again this time. And again, I want to reiterate how core this is to Bubble's mission. And what Immerse is about is really to exemplify how we can make that more visible and tangible for people. So thank you very much for being here, and I'm looking forward to see the projects of everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Just back to the slides. Great. So Immerse, it started last year. It was our first cohort. And of course, this is our second cohort. We've received over 700 applicants. And this year we've selected 16 founders that have gone through our Immerse rigorous program, which includes weekly visual programming trainings, to one-on-ones, to design trainings, and many, many meetings and many deliberations. And so this was our cohort here, and we've selected, prior to actually going through our selection of our finalists, we want to thank our mentors who every single week also participate and are part of what we call our social hours, and where founders can also ask questions and so forth. So everyone listed on here, I'm just going to call folks out: Nate Washington, Russell Smith, Christina Ducret, Malcolm Willie, Floyd, Kevin Zhang, Daryl Holman, who was actually our design expert, and Diogene Cook, who was actually part of the Immerse program as well last year, and Marissa Solomon. So thank you again to our mentors for 2021. So with that said, we're going to now present our finalists. So Selecting the finalists is a very, also a very rigorous, long, lengthy process because everyone is very engaged in the program. And the cool thing is most of our founders start from nothing and are able to build their MVP in the program. And also through one-on-one coaching, we're able to, make that determination of the finalists, which is pretty hard to do. So with that said, our 6 finalists are Edward Gonzalez from PayPads, Kamari Patrick from Work for Tomorrow, Shamika Neville Watson from Chief Complex, Alex Lewis from for Infinite Recruiting, and Luther Moore for Wave Mob, and then Trang Ho for Massa. And we'll tell you all about what each of their companies do. The one thing I will say for the audience, as folks are presenting, please use the Q&A option. What we'll do is we'll go through all the questions, and then there will be an audience question that we will select, and then that will be the last question we finish off. So that's how we'll have the folks present the pitch, each of their startups, and then the judges, both Emmanuel, Navi, and Erica, will ask their questions, and then we'll pick the audience question. Cool. And the prizes. So this year, pretty similar to last year. So the best pitch will win a spot in Antler's accelerator, and best product will get 1 free year of Bubble. And then the fan favorite will get 3 months of Bubble. So those are our prizes. Cool. All right. Awesome. So let's kick it off with our first founder, Kamari Patrick. She's the founder of Work for Tomorrow, and her company, the goal is, the one-liner learning programs for your organization's talent pipeline. So let's check out what Kamari's built in the past 10 weeks. The floor is yours, Kamari.
Great. Thank you for that introduction, Marielle. Nice to be here. Thank you to Immerse. And yeah, let's get started. I will wait for my pitch deck. Awesome. So yes, as Marielle introduced, I'm the co-founder of Work for Tomorrow, and we are an upskilling platform for your talent pipeline. Next slide. Building and maintaining a talent pipeline is really difficult. A lot of time, and potential employees are sourced from several sources, whether that's at a career fair, or cold calling and cold reaching out on LinkedIn. And oftentimes you don't actually know that potential employee skill set until they're actually interviewed and put into the official hiring flow. Next slide. Overall, the problem here is the skills gap. 60% of employers say a skills shortage is the leading reason for entry-level vacancies, as well as the lack of data on potential employees in the talent pipeline, and ultimately keeping talent interested. Sometimes organizations are continuously building a talent pipeline throughout the year, but aren't necessarily filling initially with those roles. Next slide. Our solution, job-specific technical training for potential employees in your talent pipeline. Ultimately, talent complete tasks to reveal a skills rating that you're able to use to gauge if you want to continue them on in your hiring process. Next slide. Let's take a look at the product. So learners can belong to multiple organizations, and data is not shared across organizations. Clicking into any organization will reveal a personalized branded experience. So here we're looking at Accenture. This talent is in 4 programs and has an overall skill rating of 2.27, which puts them at the growth stage. Ultimately, you'd want to see them at the target stage, which is an indication that they're ready to be interviewed and their skill set is exactly what you're looking for. If they're at a 4, the promotion stage, this likely means that they're overqualified for the programs that they applied for. In this case, you can redirect them to complete programs that you believe are more aligned to their skill set. Now we're going to take a look at a specific program here to see the data that you can see on their performance in that program. So we're going to look at IT Admin 1. And within IT Admin 1, this learner has a role proficiency of 2.5. This is their skill rating specific to this program. So the number we looked at before was their performance overall across everything they took within Accenture. On the right, we're showing their skill rating aligned to specific skills that they're evaluated on. So network security, 2.11, virtual machines, 2.31, and operating systems, 2.25. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the learning and evaluation experience. Here, we're going to look at the Oracle Engineer program. This program has 2 tasks: build an Oracle workflow and perform a system analysis. So clicking into build an Oracle workflow, we'll see all of the task details and all of the information to upskill that learner before they complete this task. They have videos and task resources they can download. This user has already submitted their task. They've already evaluated themselves and 2 others. So we're going to go ahead and look at what it looks like to evaluate another user. In the top, they're able to download the user submitted task as well as an answer key to guide their evaluation. First, they submit a written evaluation that's open-ended, comments that they want to provide. Next, they submit a quantitative evaluation for each of the skills evaluated in that task. Each skill has its own custom rubric. So for operating systems, they're rated a 1 if they didn't address the operating system at all in their task response. They're rated a 3 if they identified the correct operating system. So let's go ahead and provide a rating here. And the other thing I just want to note is all of these ratings are provided by that peer-to-peer grading network. So that overall skill rating that the overall skill getting a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so we can now go back to my slide deck and we'll take a look at the market that this product operates in. So overall, the global talent acquisition market is 22 billion and growing. Looking at a smaller segment of that is the talent acquisition applications market, also growing and right now at about 9 billion. And this is where Work for Tomorrow operates. Next slide. Overall, our traction, we have demoed to 15 warm leads, all large organizations, that's our target. And the 5 organizations here are in the late stages of our sales cycle. So we've been talking with them continuously to understand their individual use cases of our product. And in some cases, you know, taking that feedback and making changes accordingly. Thank you all so much for listening to my presentation, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome, Kamari. That was such a great presentation. Now to our judges, Emmanuel, Navi, and Erica. And our last question is going to be from the... Awesome, that was awesome, Kamari. Thanks so much. And really great work. Now to our judges. So we'll come up with an order. So the first person, Erica, we'll let you go first, then Navi, then Emmanuel, and that will be our order. And then our last question will be from the audience. So Erica, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry I was a little late joining in today, but Kamari, great presentation. You know, there's a lot going on in terms of new companies trying to innovate, you know, the space that you're tackling. My big question for you would be, you know, how do you feel your platform is really able to differentiate itself at an enterprise level when there are a lot of multi-purpose, you know, no low code solutions like, you know, Coda and Notion and, you know, all of these other, you know, platforms that are coming out now that can create, you know, where people can pretty easily replicate these types of products?
Yeah, thank you. I would say that our key differentiator is actually all of the work that goes into creating these custom learning programs. So that would require a lot more resources beyond just, creating the platform itself. My co-founder and I have both worked in ed tech. And specifically, my co-founder has worked in the space of upskilling college talent to be ready for internships. So we have a lot of expertise in this area. So one of our services ahead of putting any company on the platform is a discovery to just figure out what are the skills that you need to see to understand that a person is a fit for the role. And then we develop those tasks for them. And then those tasks are put into our platform. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Awesome. Thanks, Erica. Next, our next judge. Hi, Navi. Welcome. Nice to have you back.
Thank you so much, and great job, Kumari. Congrats on everything you built, and excellent presentation. I just had a question in regards to the customization that's required, right? So one of the things with these types of tools companies tend to be inundated with optimization efficiency tools across the board. So individual departments have to deal with multiple tools as well. What does the time look like for implementation? And I'd be curious to know, what does it look like from like a company onboarding, as well as kind of each individual jobs or roles that they want to advertise?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for the question. So there's a couple of upfront variables that kind of put you somewhere in a range of time to having an active program. So one of them is, how long do you want to keep your group engaged? So we can do programs that can be completed within a week. This is typically like 1 to 2 tasks, something you'd see with like a hiring challenge. Or we can do a program that engages employees potential employees as long as 6 months. And this is going to be 15 or more tasks. So that's primarily the range. But ultimately, we start with a discovery where we figure out which roles do they want to target and which skills do they want to evaluate. Then we figure out that timing component, and then we onboard. So I'd say for the lower end, which is 1 to 2 tasks, that is something we can put together in about 3 weeks. The view that you saw with the skills rating, the quantitative skills rating, the admins have that view as well. So we very quickly can spin up accounts with that information. So most of the onboarding time comes with developing the program itself. The use of our platform, we will provide a quick training on, but something that we find to be very intuitive. So there isn't much in terms of onboarding admins. It's really creating these programs. So on the lower end, about 3 weeks for the 2 task range. And then if we're building, a larger program to engage across 6 months, I'd say about 2 months to get employees up and going.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Navi. Thanks, Kumari. A little reminder before we kick it up, we hand it over to Emmanuel for a question is please enter any of your questions in the Q&A. That way we can consider it for audience question. Thanks. Emmanuel.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit? So you said you've done a few like demo with some warm leads. Can you talk about the feedback you got so far and how that's impacting your product roadmap going forward?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the use cases that has shown up a lot is organizations that are very large and hiring into kind of these entry-level roles continuously because they have a lot of high turnover, and you don't typically look to internal talent to put someone into an entry-level role. There's a little bit of that parallel movement, but mostly you're looking outside. So in this use case, they get a large volume of applications with people who aren't quite there yet. And so the use case we've seen is wanting to upskill that group of individuals. So give them a place to go and learn more so they don't have to completely drop them out of their talent pipeline and can get an update. They've already put resources into evaluating either their resume and cover letter, but getting a deeper look at their skill set. So in that case, if we look at that group, a lot of the feedback has been, how quickly are these learners going to be upskilled so that I can interview them again? And how am I able to, gauge where they are in comparison to where they were before? So this is where our, custom rubric aligned to grading each skill becomes really important, because overall we're still using that 1 to 4 framework: growth stage, promotion stage, on target. And each of the evaluation parameters we put against those skills obeys that larger framework, so that, you're able to have kind of a grounding and frame of reference for where someone is. And yeah, I would say in terms of influencing our product roadmap, we recognize that we're likely inserting ourselves somewhere after an initial application, in which case I see us eventually building some features to kind of categorize users in our admin view. Right now, you get a big list of users, and then you can click in and see their performance overall, identical to what we saw for the talent view. So I see, being able to say, rejected, on pause, interview. So give some of those features to manage them through that application process, is where we're at.
Awesome. Thanks, Kamari. So now our time to select the audience question. So a pretty straightforward one, which is, what's your business model?
Yeah, so we charge a one-time implementation fee that is arranged based on, what Navi's question was: how many tasks, how long are you looking to engage that group of talent? The lower end of that implementation fee is 5,000, and the upper end is around 12, depending on how much we are, how much we're creating in terms of a custom task. And then we have a monthly active user fee. So we aren't in charge of, bringing users to the platform. It's the organization. So in the use case I spoke to, they're giving this to talent that did not make it further in the hiring process. So they're only going to pay for those users that ultimately sign up and start using the product on a monthly basis. And then additionally, we have some threshold tiered pricing as well. So if you have, a certain X number of monthly active users, you'll get a discount as that number grows.
Cool.
The lower end of that $5, and the upper end 24.
Awesome work, Kamari. That was wonderful. Thanks so much, Emmanuel, Navi, and Erica, for your awesome questions, and the audience. We will also try to answer some of your questions that are listed here as well. But thank you so much. Next is Alex, who's the co-founder of Infinite Recruiting. And Alex and Rob's, who's his co-founder, goal is to digitize college sports recruiting. Go for it, Alex.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time. So again, my name is Alex Lewis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Infinite Recruiting, where we're digitizing the college sports recruiting landscape. Next slide. The origin of Infinite Recruiting began at my time working at Texas A&M, where I served as a member of the football team's recruiting staff. During my time at Texas A&M, I was able to see many of the pain points that plague this industry. Some of those pain points include communication, logistics, and guesswork. Communication is a major pain point in this industry, with the recruiting communications that are sent out by recruiting staffs being sent to recruits are spread across various platforms, including social media, email, text messages, and phone calls. And with recruits receiving interest from multiple schools around the country, it becomes a cumbersome task to organize and manage all of the recruiting communications that they're receiving. Logistics also are a major pain point in this industry, with recruits spread across the country. And with the NCAA's regulations limiting the amount of official visits that recruits are able to take on campus, it makes it hard for recruits to make a true educated decision on their collegiate future. Guesswork is also a major pain point in this industry, with the research and strategy that recruiting staff use not having any true analytical data. Next slide. Our solution is to centralize, digitize, and simplify the recruiting communication process as a whole. Our MVP currently leverages creative media and analytics to enhance the decision-making process for recruiting departments across the country. We also provide recruits with a content library that comprise each university's best pitch, so that recruits can remotely view all of the content that each university has to offer and make a better educated decision on their collegiate future. And the best part is just available at a click of a button. Let's get into our MVP. On the recruiting side of our platform, when a recruit logs in, the first thing he'll see is the teams that are actively recruiting them. When he selects a team, he'll be taken to a dynamic page with categorized content that he and his family can review. And the different categories you see here include player testimonials, path to the pros, game day experience, and program history. These are some of the major categories that each recruiter are interested in when they're deciding which university to attend. Once they click on a video, they'll be taken to a video screen where they'll also see suggested content that they can scroll through and select as well. They have the title, the date it was uploaded, as well as the time. You can also select videos from the suggested view. And with the end user of the recruiter in mind, we wanted to make sure that our video player and experience would be comparable across the board to YouTube or Netflix, which would allow the features of screen sharing, screen, and full screen to all recruiting classes. Next, we're going to go over the coaching side. So when a coach logs in, the first thing he's going to see is a recruiting board where he can view the player information, their high school, the position, and different metrics, as well as the profile pictures that they upload on the recruit's behalf as they invite them to the platform. Next, they'll be able to see all the videos that are uploaded onto the platform, as well as update their profiles as a coach. Next, they'll be able to also upload videos and invite other recruiting staff as well as recruits to the platform. Next, we're going to demo how we upload video content onto our platform. We're going to type in a title, select the category, also type in a description. Once we're done, we'll see a panel at the bottom pop up that shows the progress of the upload and how fast it's going. And once this is done, the coach will get a refresh and the inputs will clear, and that'll let them know that the upload is complete. Then we can select the category at the top, and that it will take us to a page that we selected. And at the bottom, you see the video that we just uploaded. And here's where the magic happens. We're going to select the analytics for the top video. And once the page refreshes, we're able to see a list of the active recruits that just reviewed the video, the time they reviewed it, the date, as well as the device they viewed it on, the total views, the average watch time, and the top recruit viewer. Thank you. Next slide. The total sports technology market is about $12 billion. And an emphasis on collegiate sports, the average recruiting expense total on an annual basis is $1.9 million. And the top 3 schools at the top of that list, according to Yahoo News, are the University of Georgia, the University of Alabama, and the University of Texas. And with Georgia sitting at the top of that list, they spend nearly $4 million, sitting at $3.9 million a year. We feel that these numbers highlight a clear indication that universities not only have the money, but they're willing to spend the money in this industry. And there's a lack of innovation in this space as we're clearly shifting towards a completely digital landscape, which is an indication to me and my co-founder that there's not only a market share, but a huge market opportunity for our company. Next slide. We have traction so far with 3 different universities that are going to include in our pilot program that we plan on running this summer, including Coastal Carolina, Kennesaw State, and Morehouse College. We're in talks with a few others. We hope to get 10 total teams to participate in our pilot program. From there, we're going to use a software as a service model where we're going to license our technology to individual teams, which there are 22,000 under the NCAA's umbrella, or we're going to license the technology to athletic departments as a whole. Next slide. I want to take a moment to shout out my co-founder, Rob, and our families who are watching right now. During this 10-week sprint, it's been an amazing process that he and I both brought new babies into this world. And we also were able to bring our baby Infinite Recruit into the world as well. And I want to thank Bobo for the ability to do that. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your questions.
Incredible, Alex. Awesome. Alex started literally with a blank app through this program. So it's incredible to see your journey, you and Rob. So awesome. So let's keep the same order.
Yeah. Hey, great job, Alex. You know, I really love this. So it's kind of funny because one thing that people might know about me is that I've spent a lot of time working with professional athletes, helping them find early stage companies to invest in. And so as you can imagine, I have seen a lot of people pitch me this exact same thing. And even, you know, I'm not heavily involved with the college recruiting market, so I don't know if any of them have come out to the top, but you know, I guess long story short is that people have been trying to crack this nut for, you know, at least a decade that I've been exposed to it. You know, what is out there right now? And if there isn't a company that's, you know, emerged as a leader, why do you think that is? And why do you think, you know, that you'll have an opportunity to sort of take that spot where others have failed?
Gotcha. No problem. So currently available in the market, there are really only systems in place that allow recruit discovery. And their recruits can upload profiles and they're able to be discovered by different universities across the country, but there really is no option for the universities to be able to display their best pitch to recruits. The current process is broken and is mostly only just physical access that the recruits are able to get when they come on campus, or the communications they have directly with the university's coaching staff. So we feel like we'll come out on top of this industry just due to the industry knowledge that we have, the advisors that we have on board, including athletic directors and directors of recruiting, who provide great detail and insight to help us as we move forward.
You know, and I also just wanted to chime in with one thing that I think could be an interesting use case, you know, given what's happened over the last couple of years with the abuse of the recruiting system, is, you know, to think about implementing something into your technology that'll provide some more checks and balances around, you know, verification of people that come onto teams, and sort of a data warehouse around, okay, you know, if somebody ends up on the XYZ team for this university, that there's actually sort of a store of, you know, the communication and, you know, sort of the backup evidence that that person actually is an athlete. So something to think about as you're selling that into schools.
For sure. Thank you. We definitely want to keep a ledger of everybody that the universities have been recruiting so that we can provide that information to compliance departments across the nation.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Erica. Next, Navi.
Awesome job, Alex. Impressive to get this thing built out in a sprint. Just curious, I have kind of two questions. The first one is, when you were designing this, how, you know, given that it was a limited amount of time, how much user feedback did you get for the individuals that would actually be the end users, right? So like the coaches, oftentimes they can be quite limited in their ability to use online tools. So just curious as how, you know, if you've kind of gone through iterations with them or gotten their thoughts on the design, the UI.
Yes, so we went through iterations with the main three coaches that we spoke with, as well as a few recruits as well, as we're focusing on the UX side of that, of our product. And all the feedback that we got led to the iterations that you saw today. Got
it. And sorry, I try not to take too much time, but I know, to Erica's point, you know, this is something that I've personally been pitched at least 5 or 6 times. And I guess the current player that's gotten a little bit of traction is field level, I believe. Like, how do you guys compare to field level, and you know, what is, you know, what's your competitive advantage?
So I'm not aware of field level. Can you tell me a little bit about their company?
Yeah, they're a recruiting platform. They've been able to get kind of a few, I think last I checked, a few 100,000 individuals onto the platform itself. So they've been able to generate some traction. I personally haven't used the platform. I just know that they were actually out there looking for funding.
Gotcha. I mean, with the little knowledge I have, I'm not really sure how we compare, but I know I haven't seen anything out there that takes the vantage point that we take as far as utilizing the university's pitch and not just the prospect's pitch. So I think that's our hook. That's the one thing that differentiates us and makes us different.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Emmanuel.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, starting from a white page, that's really cool to see how far you've gone so far.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about your sales process so far? How have you been finding the current leads that you have? And when you think about scaling this, do you have like some kind of secret approach here that would enable you to scale faster than other people in the space?
Yes, I mean, with my time working over 6 years in this industry, I've developed a great network of people that work in collegiate recruiting, and that's led to all the leads that we have now and a few other leads that we'll be talking to in the future as far as joining our pilot program, as well as pitching them on just getting contracts to license the service that we offer.
Got it.
Anna, do you have any other questions?
Who, me?
Yeah, are you, sorry, do you have any other questions? Or are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking. And how about your pricing model? What have you thought about here?
So, so for the athletic department wide model, It's really going to be a variable cost for most schools have between 12 and 17 schools. So we're looking at an upwards of 25,000 a minimum. But it's really going to depend on the amount of total teams that they have. On a per team basis, on a minimum, we're looking at charging $5,000 per team on an annual basis. And as we continue to iterate and add different feature sets, which we have planned, we're going to go up in price, looking to go up to $10,000 per team per year.
So the idea down the line is to have some kind of a sales team creating these custom deals with schools?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Cool, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Thanks, Navi. Thanks, Erica. Audience question is, so the 1.9 million, how much is that currently spent on software? If you have any visibility to that.
We weren't given any visibility how much that's spent on software, so I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, cool. So I'll ask you another a little question that may be easy. In your future iterations of the product, do you envision to include academic background, analytics around the academic background?
Sure, yes. We definitely want to showcase, once we expand to recruit discovery, we want to show their academic background, their performance, because that's obviously a huge factor in whether they can or cannot get a scholarship to universities.
Great, awesome. Well, great work, Alex. Nice to hear from you and all about Infinite Recruiting. With that, let's go on to our next founder, Trang.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Chang Ho. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MasaFresh.com, where we bring local farmers markets to you. And now let's get straight to the opportunity at hand. I want you to meet Lacey. She's a small-scale mushroom farmer. Her main outlet to sell direct to consumers right now is the local farmers market, where she can fully control her product selection and prices while maximizing her profit margin. But it also takes Lacey a lot of time and effort to set up at the market. And she loses out on potential sales opportunities because the market is limited to a location and time, while being affected by many variables like the weather, people's schedules, and yes, you guessed it, a pandemic. On the other hand, next slide, Bruce loves the farmers markets, but dreads the long waiting line. He has a busy schedule and would like to pre-order his groceries. So he tries several online delivery services and feels unsatisfied because he misses that high quality and freshness of farmers market produce and wants to directly support farmers like Lacey. And as you can see from Lacey and Bruce's stories, there's no seamless way for farmers to sell direct to consumer and for the consumers to shop from farmers markets. And this is where we come in. We're a localized e-commerce platform for farmers and artisans to create a free account, list products, sell direct to consumer, and benefit from Masa's seamless fulfillment service. Our solution is three-pronged. We help farmers and artisans maximize their profit margin on direct sales, give shoppers access to a large selection of unique local products, and facilitate a vibrant local economy built on direct connections. And I'd love to share with you a quick tour of our product. Now you can enter your zip code, see a list of farmers markets near you, and shop vibrant marketplaces like the PSU Farmers Market, the iconic market in Portland. You can view product details and add to basket in a few clicks, and essentially pick and choose fresh local products that are unique from multiple vendors, just like you would if you were to stroll down the farmer's market in person. And the best part about this is if you're curious about any of the vendors, you can visit their profile page and discover amazing stories behind the people that produce our food. Like Virginia here at Eloisa Organic Farm. She's an immigrant from Mexico, and she had worked at the same farm for 25 years when in 2019, the farm owner started training her to take over the business. And 2020 was her first year managing her own farm. And there are just so many other inspiring stories like that to be discovered. But once you're done exploring, you can head over to your basket, review your item list, and start checking out. And voila, soon you'll receive assorted products from multiple markets, multiple vendors, easily via delivery or pickup. And the next slide is going to be on the vendor experience. So with our responsive web app, farmers can have the freedom and flexibility to list the products at their own pricing. They can also share the unique journey through behind the scene pictures. There are more information and stories, and ultimately engage customers with community events. Lastly, they can manage their orders all on the same dashboard with an itemized list for harvesting and an order checklist for packing. So farmers and artisans can now have an easy way to manage their D2C business anytime, anywhere. And here's our business model. Vendors pay us 10% commission fee on every sale. Shoppers pay a $7.50 flat fee for delivery, or 4% of the total order value for pickup. Potential revenue streams include premium subscription services like business and analytics tools for vendors and free delivery for shoppers. The current market trends also validate our potential growth. The annual sales of the US online grocery grow at the 100% over the last 4 years. And that number of the US farmers market is at 60% over the last 2 years. So we're leveraging that two rapidly growing markets. So my experience in running high growth e-commerce team, you can go to the next slide. And my co-founder Chang Shaba's expertise in market trends and customer development are crucial to build a new product and market. And our team is rapidly growing. We launched in April 2020 at the PSU Farmers Market in Portland, Oregon. And after 12 months, we've gained more than $180,000 in sales with the average order value at $70. Our compounded monthly growth rate is at 18%. And we've secured the partnerships to launch in 5 more markets over the next 3 months. And I'm so proud, with the help of our amazing instructors and mentors from the Immerse program, we've been able to add the multi-market functionality that's really complex to our platform that will fuel our next level of growth. So thank you so much for having me here. We always value your feedback, so feel free to reach out to us via email or social media. And let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome, thanks, Trang. That was a great presentation. Erica?
Yeah, great presentation, beautiful app, beautiful, deck. I think you really nailed it. So great job on that. And I love the idea of what you're doing. There's definitely a there. I mean, it's obviously worked for restaurants and a variety of other types of businesses to create, this sort of software platform. My question for you, though, is really kind of about scalability and your vision there. So, you rolled this out at the Portland market, you did 180K. So with your sort of like 10% model, I guess, plus you're maybe getting another 5%. So, let's say that's like 25, max $30,000, in commissions over 12 months from that one market. How does this business get to, even $5-10 million in revenue, if that's kind of what you're getting from each market?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we partner with the farmers markets to basically, accelerate our onboarding for vendors. And so I think we have pretty low margin. So we're going to shoot for the high volume. And with the farmers market partnerships, I think it's going to be really easy for us to onboard a lot of vendors and kind of be in a lot of regions, fast. But also we're in talks to basically have the farmers market kind of implement the fulfillment process for us, which that's going to really leave us to focus on, the platform itself, the process design and scale. Also, we're testing another model where the vendors actually would handle the fulfillment themselves. And that would also kind of, really help us scale quickly and be out of the fulfillment process.
Awesome. Erica, any other questions?
Next person can go ahead.
Okay, cool. Navi?
Yep. Thanks again. Great job. It's always interesting to see how you guys are able to build these things so quickly. And the UI looks great. Just, do you have any idea on the CAC numbers, like the cost of acquisition, customer acquisition costs, when you're going out into these markets?
So far, we've been, kind of doing a lot of trial and error with customer acquisition. One of our main focus right now is to contact, reach out to residential buildings, senior centers, to basically, give them special promotion deals for their clients or residents. So, I mean, right now it's very trial and error. So I'm not really sure like what our cost is, but it's been very, very cheap comparatively. And so far, like that $180,000 is all from organic growth.
Got it. And I think those things become significantly more important when you talk about scale, right? So like launching it out in a market, it's good to kind of get some like rough outline of those types of numbers so that you can see, when you go to LA, Boston, Philly, wherever you guys launch, what you can expect to see on the cost front, given that it's like relatively thin margins. But yeah, great job.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Thank you, Navi. Emmanuel?
Yeah, great app. It's actually quite beautiful. One thing we haven't talked too much about is on the operational side of things. Like, what happens when someone wants to send something? What kind of offering do you? What kind of system have you put in place for that? Having people like ship things, it has to remain fresh. I mean, there are a lot of things going on for that. And is it sustainable with a 4% charge fee, which I think is what I saw in the presentation?
Yeah, so just to iterate, we charge 10% from the vendor side for sales of their sales, and then 4% is for any pickup order, of the total order value from the customers. So I just want to clarify that. And with the operations right now, we have an order deadline on Wednesday for the PSU Farmers Market, which happens on Saturday, and then Thursday, vendors would receive their order summary and prep for the orders. And on Saturday, our team set up at the farmers market where most of the vendors already attend, and they drop off the products to our station. Our team would aggregate. We actually use an internal tool that's also built on Bubble to aggregate and pick and pack. And then we have a delivery team that deliver the products to customers. So that's kind of what I was talking about. When we scale, we actually want to the farmers market to basically kind of handle that process, and we'll just kind of be the one making sure that the software and the design is streamlined.
Is the fee 10% from the vendor plus 4% from the consumer, or is it 10% or 4% depending on how they acquire the goods?
Yeah, so the 10% is for vendors always. For delivery, it's going to be $750 flat fee from the customers, and then if it's a pickup order, it's a 4% of the total order value.
Okay.
So it's an or, yeah. And we're still it's a really new startup, so we're still open to kind of updating that pricing model.
Okay. Thanks.
And so effectively, your vendors need to be in a similar geographic zone for this to work, right?
Yeah, so we basically leverage that farmers market, that physical farmers market, as our like central handoff location. They're really, like great partners for us in terms of being through logistics or acquisition.
And so the idea to scale would be to spread that across the country, basically, like to go to the New York farmer market, for instance.
Yes, and actually we're looking into like a revenue sharing model with the farmers market so that they would also be incentivized to grow with us.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Emmanuel. Thanks, Erica and Nabi. Many of the questions on the audience you already answered, but someone in the audience wanted to know a little bit more about your target user from the consumer side. Is there anything that you're focusing on for that consumer side in this early stages of your startup?
Yeah, one of our one of the patterns that we've noticed is that a lot of our best customers is retirees. So people that are in, like the older age group that are retired, very high income, and they, really care about being healthy. And especially because of the pandemic, they didn't have the mobility to access, the farmers market produce. So that's our main target group right now. Bruce is actually one of our best customers that I kind of mentioned in the story. So we're currently outreaching a lot of the senior centers to make sure that we can kind of give access to our product to those customers.
Awesome. That's some cool insight. Thank you so much, Trang. Thanks so much, Emmanuel, Erica, and questions in the audience, of course, and keep the questions coming. Our next founder is Shamika Neville Watson. She's the founder of Chief Complex, and Shamika's goal is taking the guesswork out of sizing through made to measure fashion. Shamika?
Hello. Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Shamika Neville Watson, and I'm the founder of Chief Complex. I almost walked out of an interview with my pants down, literally. My new suit trousers were too loose at the waist. I didn't have time to go to a tailor, and the safety pin holding up my pants came undone, slashing my confidence. After sharing my story with friends, I found that I was not the only one with these fit horror stories. The media and fashion industry perpetuates this idea that only certain body types are acceptable, making many women, including myself, feel like something is wrong with our bodies. It's time to declare. The issue isn't our bodies, it's the clothes. Next slide. Fit is a huge problem in the fashion industry, and it's not limited to categories of women such as plus size, petite, or tall. I am among the 93% of women who struggle to find stylish clothing for their specific body type, and we found 3 key reasons. 1, our bodies do not neatly fit into a size chart. Traditional sizing does not take into account the diversity of shape. 2nd, body representation is lacking, causing uncertainty and the habit or behavior of women buying multiple sizes and then returning one or more, I'm sorry. And then 3, multidimensional women are unsure how to balance their personal styles with corporate dress codes. Next slide. And so Chief Complex is taking the guesswork out of sizing through made to measure fashion. We're starting with elevated staples. We use 3D technology for next level personalization, customizing the fit for every possible shape and size, and then visualizing it on her 3D body double avatar so that she can be confident in how our products will look specifically on her before it's made. Now let me show you how it works. After landing on our webpage on chiefcomplex.com, women can get to know a little bit about us. Then they proceed to 4 easy steps to getting their personalized experience. First, women take the fit quiz. So this involves answering some questions related to their dimensions, such as their fit challenges, their fit preferences, also their narratives. We want to get to know their background and their lifestyle, and then also their style attitude. So this includes things like their style preferences and also some of their favorite colors. They'll create an account so that they can either save and finish later, or they can continue on to taking 2 photos, which will be used to create a 3D model mesh. So as you see, women here have the option to either take photos from their smartphone or from their desktop, they can upload directly. Our algorithms will personalize product recommendations, and then our team will convert that 3D model mesh into a more aesthetically pleasing 3D body double avatar so that they can then use to virtually try on the sizes and styles. The second step, shop the site. So on our collection page, women can toggle the personalization on or not to shop specifically those recommended results. Or they can also apply filters, including lifestyle filters such as industry, dress code, occasion. And then when she likes a product, she can click, and then you'll notice a match score. So this match score is based on their fit profile and helps to better align the product to the interests of the customer. And we also want to encourage new style discovery. The third step, visualization. So using her 3D body double avatar, she can virtually try on styles and see that particular product variant from different angles. She can then also play the animation to get a sense of movement. And we understand that fit is a preference. And so we give women the option to choose. They can go a little tighter, or they can even go a little bit looser than our standard Chief Complex fit. And the final step, add to bag, check out as usual, and then we'll fulfill their order, custom fit on demand in about 2 weeks. Women can be confident that their garment is designed just for them, because our mission is to fit every woman in every dimension, every time. Next slide, please. So the market size in the US alone is about $64 billion and growing. And even according to a recent McKinsey report, e-commerce shopping in the US is projected to grow about 30% in 2021 relative to 2020. Next slide. Our business model enables better cash flow. We have no middlewoman, we hold no inventory, and we take 100% of the payment upfront and offer a fit guarantee, all of which allows us to really design around our customer. So we can test new styles and colors very quickly without the waste of unsold products, which has a better impact on the environment. And since we're innovating a new framework, we've taken a hypothesis-driven approach, validating some of our riskiest assumptions, as you can see here. Overall, we found that women are not only interested, but they're really, really passionate about the problem. Men too. And with the advancement of technology and smartphones, 5G networks, and also automation and manufacturing, we're really primed to deliver a more scalable and exciting product and experience. So Chief Complex is taking the guesswork out of sizing so that all women can focus on what matters, their journey to chiefdom. Thank you, stay powerful, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Shamika. That was awesome. Our first, sorry, Erica.
Yeah, so great presentation. You know, people have kind of been trying to crack this nut. This is another one that, you know, many companies have come and, you know, there's like a, you know, pool of dead bodies around companies that have tried to figure out how to do work in sizing. But my main question for you, since, you know, you're not trying to match people's size in other brands, but you're actually, I guess, manufacturing your own clothes. Let's say, you know, somebody uploads their pictures, they put in, you know, whatever information, and then the clothing arrives and they don't, you know, they don't like the item for reasons unrelated to fit. What are you going to do, you know, as far as returns?
Yeah, so right now we're offering, our fit guarantees allows women to return just for fit. And that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to focus on creating this virtual try-on experience to de-risk that process. And so in addition to customizing the avatar to her specific shape, which is unlike other virtual try-on probably, solutions out there where you can choose a body that's similar to your shape, but not quite your shape. This one is an exact replica. And then we also go ahead and customize the patterns digitally in the back end. So they're essentially seeing the proof of what will be manufactured before it's made. And so we really try to de-risk that ahead of time.
Thanks.
Great question, Erica. Did you have anything else?
No, we can move on to the next judge.
Awesome. Navi?
Hey, Shamika, great job. Just a quick question regarding the supply chain. So walk me through kind of the process of where it's manufactured, how it's manufactured, and any, like, what are the costs that you can, as you scale, how much do the costs come down from just the supply chain side?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Yeah, and so if you look at our supply chain, so even just starting at the front end, we do all of our design and product development in the 3D world before going into the physical space. And once an order is placed, again, we've already customized the pattern, and then we send that automatically to the manufacturer. We do have manufacturers identified based here in the US, in which they can fulfill orders actually really in less than a week. But I say 2 weeks just to give us some processing time and a little bit of a buffer. And then they would then package individually and ship that order direct to the customer, which is really different from how supply chain and fashion works today, where you develop we'll say you start with the size, you create a sample, get the fit right for that particular fit model, and then you apply grading rules to create this size range. Again, still all based on a single particular shape, and then you would send that to manufacturing with minimum order quantities, making thousands of these things without understanding exactly how these things will play out in the market. And so that's what's different. And I think I missed, you had a secondary question?
Got it. No, that was it. So just so I understand, so there is the process of actually getting your right size, designing the dress, and then that goes to a third party who then actually will manufacture it, and they handle all of like 3PL, they're building, creating it, packaging it, shipping it. And then, so any returns, even though, you have let's assume you have a 99% hit rate, and the 1% of returns that are coming back, are those coming back to you, or are those coming back to a third party manufacturer?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So that's something that we would want to have come back to us, or at least someone from our team, so we can really investigate the root cause of that issue. My background actually is in manufacturing. I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt. And so I live and breathe defects, the root cause, how do we really lean and automate processes where we can. And so, so we would investigate that, work with our manufacturing partners to make adjustments where necessary, and then basically reship, a remake directly to the customer.
Got it. This reminds me a lot of the laws of motion. I don't know if you're familiar with Carly.
Yeah, we actually have a mutual friend. Yeah, so she's creating a new, we'll say, sizing system, and we're creating the custom fit all together. And so there's not necessarily a size, because we also found that, two women can have the exact same dimensions, but entirely different shapes. And so we just really want to be able to customize to those little nuances where gaping or, things that you can't really, describe on paper, we can solve for that specific customer.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Navi. Emmanuel?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, congratulations on the build. I mean, that was really showcasing Popol in a great way, which obviously I'm very sensitive to that. Can you talk a little bit about like customer acquisition? Because I feel like we haven't talked about that much. And I mean, in such a space, it's hard. The discovery and distribution, like having people knowing about your service is not easy. What have you tested so far? What are your thoughts in terms of scaling? Have you figured out some cost of acquisition to get to expand the business?
Yeah, and so, to start, because we really want to nail down the fit, we'll start with really organic channels. And so like word of mouth partnerships, actually, that's where our incoming women came from, word of mouth. In the future, we definitely want to start building partnerships with different female-focused forums, networks, affinity groups, and clubs. And then longer term down the line, I do want to bring new brands onto our platform, which is another opportunity for the brands themselves to really drive traffic and new customers to our platform as well.
Have you tried paid acquisition yet? Is that something that you would want to test?
I'm actually in conversations with some women affinity groups. And so that's something that's currently in the works. But what we have seen is the effectiveness of word of mouth.
I mean, if you can put it out, this is the best acquisition driver. It's just at some point, is it going to be enough to scale?
Oh, yeah. So we are pre-launch. And so, so definitely, we'll also be looking at social media channels. And so launching different challenges. So one of the key issues that we found that women have in addition to fit is they don't know how to style themselves. And so, how do we get the community involved in creating outfits that, really align with their lifestyle and really driving engagement online, in addition to partnering with various influencers, which, align with our mission and really speak to our customers to getting the word out there as well.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Emmanuel. So quick audience question here is, have you thought about licensing or opening up your business model to other brands and other brands?
Yeah, it's a great question. And one that I get a lot, which actually is why, if you would have asked me maybe a while ago, I would have said, this is a brand for Chief Complex. But I think with a lot of inbound questions like these, we decided that, women have different aesthetics preferences, right? And so bringing on different brands onto our platform gives women more options for different designs to shop for. And so, so we'll be onboarding new brands in the future, but as our MVP, we'll be starting off with our brand.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mika. Great work. Thanks so much, Emmanuel, Navi, and Erica for your questions. Our next founder is Luther Moore. He's the founder of Wave Mob, which is community-driven music discovery platform for independent music. Did everyone hear that? Sorry, I think I'm gonna mute.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, cool. I was like,
I was on mute.
Okay, I was like, what was on mute? There we go. Hey, Luther.
Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. As mentioned, my name is Luther Moore. I'm the founder of Wave Mob. And, one thing to know about me is my whole life, I've been a new music fanatic. And my obsession really started at an early age, when I fell in love with that feeling of like finding what I felt was that next new hit and, sharing it with your friends. I developed a bit of a reputation amongst friends for just that sort of thing. By 14, I started producing my own music, making beats, sharing those CDs with friends. And by 16, I finally was able to get my first set of turntables and started playing parties in the local area. I would move on to DJ clubs here in LA and even overseas, and eventually producing radio at Power 106, a local radio station here in town. Now, all of that to say, my whole life, whether it was searching for new artists for a marketing campaign or building a set for a gig, I've had this vested interest in independent music and finding that best new music fast. And as a self-proclaimed fanatic, I have seen just how great independent artists are getting crushed in today's world of major streaming services. So, while independent artists represent the fastest growing segment in the recording industry, generating over $800 million in revenue from 2019, music discovery algorithms are heavily favoring the biggest players in the game, while promising independent artists fail to find traction and would-be fans on these major platforms. Over 87% of Spotify's library is owned by one of the big three major record labels, and over 60,000 songs at this point are added to Spotify each day. Apple Music won't even talk to independent artists without an independent distributor to get your music on their platform. And platforms that are open to all create too much noise and are flooded with poor quality uploads and ill-formatted tracks, some of which are mine. SoundCloud, for example, their library alone has over 200 million tracks. Now, in an industry with billions in revenue and all of the major players in the space, there's still not a platform that can effectively champion the best new music you've never heard and at the same time provide a quality discovery experience we've all come to expect. Until now. WaveMob pairs exposure for new music from independent artists with a community-driven discovery experience that new music fanatics will love. So let's take a look at just how it works. Now, artists are uploading tracks directly to the platform along with their very best 30-second clip of each song. And then it's available. Now, after a brief onboarding, potential fans are going to be exposed to a continuous feed of this new music, all from independent artists. However, unlike existing platforms, they're only going to be exposed to that 30-second clip we just mentioned, and each clip is only featured on the feed once per user. So after we complete our onboarding experience here, we're going to take a bit of a scroll through the feed and we'll see what it is we find. And there's audio.
Forgotten. I've been through rain and it painted my heart in pieces. I wrote I put it out without a title. I just rap to pass the time to keep my mind from going. I'm grinding like grind. I'ma keep rolling gelato. I'ma keep rolling gelato.
All right, so as users are exploring this new music feed, users are liking, they're saving, and they're sharing their favorite clips. All of those engagements are affecting that song's rating. And that song's rating is going to change where in the feed that track will show up for other users. Put another way, rather than relying on algorithms or gatekeepers to serve up that next track for our listeners, Wavemob is relying on its users to collectively determine what tracks are rising to the top. Now, it's also very important to note that the clip scores are calculated relative to total plays, ensuring a level playing field for artists big and small. So let's hop into the user profile. Once listeners are done scrolling through their feed, listening to as many tracks as they like, they can access the full songs of those clips they saved, as well as the artists that they're now following here in the user profile. Now, if you remember, the clip we just heard was very exciting. So to get the full, or see how the experience changes, let's see. So as you can hear, the real benefit here for the platform is getting our artists the exposure that they need while respecting the seriously competitive market for our listeners' time. This way, we've been able to hook a user at the beginning with that 30-second high energy clip. But had we played the full song first, we may have very well missed an opportunity to create a new fan. So now, equipped with your newly found music and emerging artists that are now on your radar, you can enjoy your saved library here directly on the platform, or in the very near term, you'll be able to pass through Wavemob to access those songs on your favorite major streaming platform. So now that you're acquainted with the platform, let's take a look at some of the numbers. As a whole, the US digital streaming space is worth over $10 billion. Now the lion's share of this is attributed to premium subscription fees, but this also includes things like ad revenue from free platforms, marketing and distribution services, as well as digital sales and referral fees from some of the other discovery platforms. So I also want to share with you that these numbers shatter projections that were in place prior to this crazy pandemic year that we just had, where in 2019, the projected streaming revenue for 2020 in the US was only $4.5 billion. So in regards to traction, we've been completely product focused, working on getting our MVP ready to be beta tested. And that being said, in that time, we've also had 250 artists and early adopters interested in early access by signing up on our website. And we've also conducted user research where participants have told us that 82% said that they're likely or highly likely to try a new platform that makes discovery easier. 77% of participants stated that the ease of discovery is important or extremely important when selecting a streaming platform. And 60% have agreed that music recommendations generated by algorithms often miss the mark. And I also want to mention, it's not reflected here, but Spotify themselves have also looked into this topic with their own survey and have found that 71% of participants said that music discovery improves their mood and boosts happiness. So thank you for your time and joining me on the first stage in our mission to create the best music discovery experience for independent artists and music enthusiasts alike. I'll take questions.
Awesome. Good job, Luther. Everyone in the audience was like, you build TikTok for music discovery. So great work. Erica?
Yeah, really looks great. Looks like a very cool idea. You know, interesting. I think we have seen a couple kind of similar apps pitched in recent, the recent year. So, certainly people are paying attention to the space. I mean, my big question for you is, I certainly understand why folks would want to create discovery platforms like this, but, clearly there is like a separation here between, all the other music, right, that, is not independent and this. And, certainly people want to discover new music, but how do you balance that with, they may want to discover new music that's, by artists that are not independent, and, sort of this sort of being a completely separate platform that isn't really integrating with their existing music consumption.
Definitely. And to your point, I mean, the dream here is definitely to be a authority in the space for all music discovery. The strategic thinking behind starting in this space is, one, really finding a place where we can create the biggest sense of community. That's a big one. And by creating a great user experience and breaking some of these artists in mainstream, the goal here is really to create a lot of noise so that when the time comes, major labels and other services are looking to us and want their artists to get on board with us. And I want to also add to that just because someone has a deal doesn't mean that they're going to be supported. So in a very early iteration of this deck, I told a story about how, I'm kind of a fan of Tinashe, and I've known about her for quite a while. I don't know if anybody's familiar, but something that I noticed about her is that she had lots of great music, but all of the stuff that really resonated with her fans was not supported by the label, and some of it even removed. And then she ultimately got shelved by her label RCA and didn't put out any music until I think within the last couple of years, she was able to get out of her label and put out music that she wants. And that's a problem that a lot of artists face. So as it pertains to appealing to major labels to work with us and license some of their music to us, I really kind of see it as a testing ground for some of the early artists that they've given deals to, but maybe they've not contributed marketing dollars to, which is also a potential revenue play. Next.
Awesome. Thanks, Luther. Thanks, Erica. Navi?
Awesome, man. Again, great job. Just two quick questions. How many artists currently on the platform?
Currently, outside of that leads list of 250, the platform is not open to artists. What I'm doing is kind of tapping certain artists on the shoulder and getting user feedback just in terms of the artist onboarding experience.
Yeah.
We're serving two people here, right? Independent artists as well as fanatics. The first step in that is making sure that the artists that are on board and have a great experience and feel that they're supported. So we are still kind of fine tweaking that onboarding experience to get the music on, at which time we'll reach out to our leads list and turn on the marketing machine.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. Like conceptually, it's a cool concept, right? And it's a unique. It's differentiated slightly from the likes of SoundCloud and YouTube and all those other hosting platforms. It's just the delicate balance between the two sides of the marketplace, right? As you noted, the artist and the fan. So curious as to, you mentioned once you get the beta out, you want to get some of these local artists. What is your plan for kind of getting ears to the app, getting the downloads? Like, what's the go-to-market strategy?
Right. So on the surface, paid social media and social ads obviously play a big role. The path that really makes the most sense is advertising to TikTok, because it's not a secret, as pointed out in the chat. We are riffing off of that user experience, and that really was intentional. I don't want to go on too far of a tangent, but TikTok itself has also become a music marketing machine that's indispensable, but it still doesn't hit that mark in terms of actually listening to music over a period of time without the video element. But they're also not the first video app that's come out. So in my position is that, something that's factored into their success is just the stickiness of their experience. And so that is what we're learning from to create, the sticky product that's going to create the organic growth. And then, like I mentioned, working through paid advertising on social, creating marketing campaigns with artists that we onboard, and also helping them advocate for their music on the platform. That's going to be a big component to this, right?
Got it. And what's the team look like at the moment? Is it just you working on this, or?
Yes, right now it's just me. So putting a team in place is definitely a high profile item for me. I think similarly to a lot of the people in this program, I do not come from a technical background in this, in the conventional sense to, code it myself. And because it's such a competitive space, it was a delicate approach for me to pitch it all around town and have it ripped from me. So Bubble, graciously, shout out, has empowered me to really, build it myself so that in such a sensitive space, when I go out and pitch, it doesn't have to be conceptual. I mean, I live in LA, major cities, a lot of you can to attest, everybody's got an idea. You guys are getting pitched all the time. So the fact that I'm able to roll out on my own and start onboarding users and proof concept with such a powerful platform like Bubble has been great, and it has, surpassed my expectations. And now it's something that can grow with the platform.
Awesome. Thank you.
I see that.
Wow,
that's Emmanuel. That's perfect.
Quite the testimonial. I mean, like
music to Emmanuel's ear. No pun intended.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, these things are always better said by users than us. So thank you very much for that. Can you elaborate a little bit on the monetization part? I understand this is not something you would want to work on immediately. Like you need to create the critical mass first. But what kind of business models you have in mind down the line?
The revenue structure, I mean, it's a blended model, really. As mentioned, we're serving artists and we're serving users. There's a natural play, for ad revenue in a way that I believe can be less, or how do you say it? not as full of friction, if you will, or interrupting the listening experience through in-feed ads. Branded content and sponsorship opportunities was one that I'm excited about. But because we're servicing these independent artists, account fees are like a pro level account, similar to how you see with SoundCloud, is going to become a larger piece of the revenue model, if you will. So those are the main areas. Well, go ahead.
So philosophically, because my question was, I guess, who should pay more between the artist and the listeners?
Well, initially, the opportunity is for the artists to pay. This is going to take a little bit of time because we're trying to strike the right balance of being an open to all platform, but also we got to keep the quality up to keep the listeners on board, right? So it's gonna take some time to really churn through music with our early adopters as they're patient with us. And the more music we're turning through this machine, the more engagement we're getting from our users, the more competitive it is going to become. And once we have kind of a pro level songs, I believe some of the ones you just heard were from some of the songs you heard are from independent artists that are on the platform. So once we have that pro level caliber of artists and music, that's the point when I think we can approach users for a paid experience. Listeners.
Cool.
Does that answer?
Yeah, it does. Congratulations. I mean, it's a cool build.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Audience question, most of the questions have been answered as well, but have you thought about connecting with venues that usually host independent artists and partnering with them?
Yes, so even the inspiration for that comes from my time working at Power 106, the radio station here in Los Angeles. Once we're back in the live space, which is very exciting to me, something they do at their summer concert that they have every year. I don't know what it's called now, but it's some iteration of what we would call the New at 2 stage. So those are like, emerging artists that they're championing. They have kind of a separate stage area. So partnering with event venues to produce shows like that is something that is exciting to me. And it also, again, presents another sponsorship opportunity for brands to come in and give us money.
Awesome. Great job, Luther. Thank you. Thanks, Emmanuel. Thanks, Erica and Navi, for your questions. Next and last founder pitching is Edward Gonzalez, founder of PayPads. And the goal for PayPads is rent protection for all. Edward, are you up?
Yeah.
Floor is yours, Edward.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you for all of the participants who have stayed this long and are using your precious time to watch us today. And thank you for Bubble, of course, for hosting this event. A little backstory, PayPads was founded in 2018 with the idea of rent protection for all. The idea actually came from a personal experience of mine. So I moved to Los Angeles in 2012. I was 20 years old, and I basically had a room for rent. And unfortunately, the people that I was renting the room from basically said, hey, you know, we're leaving in 3 days. You have 72 hours to find a new place. So I was selling cars at the time at Universal Nissan in Hollywood and found myself homeless. I literally moved into the motel the night in across the street from my job and was like, what am I gonna do? I'm kind of homeless right now, right? So I discovered payday loans, and I basically took out 4 payday loans for $250 each with a repayment of $300 in order to secure a $1,000 down payment to be able to move into a new room for rent and just have a roof over my head. And because I was so young, that experience really stuck with me up until today, you know, 2021. And I realized that even in today's market, there's really a socioeconomic gap in the capital that's available for people that were in my situation or even might be in the situation today. So we'll go ahead and start off why I created PayPads and why I'm trying to put it on the market. Our team, go ahead. Our team, of course, is me. In our audience, we have Luis, who is our FinTech advisor and COO. And then we also have Thomas, who is our partner and head of finance. Next slide. So the problem that we're really trying to solve is, you know, 64% of Americans are literally living paycheck to paycheck. And renters really often have less access to credit in time of need. I mean, you know, your tires could pop and that's $500, right? Or your water line could pop because of the freezes in Texas and that's $1,000, thousands of dollars, right? So things happen. And at the end of the day, we want to be here to protect people, to let them know PayPads has their back and we have a peace of mind for them. Next slide. So the current market size, in 2019, we did a survey through Harvard and through the government that showed us 148 million renters are currently in the US right now as of 2019 and growing as we speak. 40 million of them are currently right now at risk for eviction. Now, you know, with COVID and everything happening, this number has definitely increased since then, but that's just a baseline platform. Next slide. Our solution is a direct to renter protection platform. So we pay the landlord directly and allow the renter to repay over time. We charge $24.95 a month to protect them in case they need to submit a rent request, and the loans are actually organized by our own bank partners. Next slide. So a little bit of the workflow. We've partnered with Plaid, who's kind of been in the news a little bit, in order to verify their bank account and to solidify the renter's history as well. We allow them to select up to 4 repayment methods. We don't want to trap them or anything like that, and select methods such as ACH or credit or debit card. And we really want to provide a peace of mind. Once a user has repaid, they can submit another request if they need to, or just know in the back of their mind, hey, I'm protected if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or some other random holiday and something happens and I may not be able to pay my rent, I know that I'm protected. Next slide. This is a little bit of a demo of how our app works. So after sign up, users will be prompted to connect their bank account. So we have partnered with Plaid, who also powers Venmo and other fintech platforms that are currently on the market. So it's very safe, very secure. For this demonstration, we're utilizing Chase. So once their connected bank account has successfully been validated, they'll be prompted through Stripe to join PayPads for that $24.99 a month fee. Once they go ahead and actually submit this payment, of course, the payment has to clear. We have to kind of make sure that everything goes well to prevent fraud, to prevent scams, and also make sure the renter is who they say they are. We will get their identity and all of their transaction history, and they'll be able to access their dashboard directly. So we have a verification period where the renter will be verified with their landlord information, their income information, and their payment history. And then once that's validated, they can go ahead and apply for rent protection. So in case of an emergency, we keep it really simple. They can go ahead and take their payment and split it up to 4 repayments. So for example, this user is at $600. They're doing a repayment on May 15th for $200, and then a second repayment on the 29th for $400. So maybe to align with their paycheck, maybe, it was Easter, spent too much on chocolate, something happened. They're able to select ACH, debit or credit, be forwarded to the next step where we verify that. Very simple, very clean. We allow them to see, hey, your rent protection is in review. We'll update them on the status of the payment to the landlord and when their payment schedule is due as well. Next slide. Oh, sorry, yeah. So a little bit of our traction. We launched the beta in 2019, and we actually had 174 paying users. In that beta, we generated $30,000 worth of revenue, and we currently have a wait list of 1,200 plus people waiting for re-sign up or relaunch. So originally we did this with a JavaScript code. We hired some developers and had this app on the Apple Store and the Google Android platform market. But because of the insecurity of that JavaScript, we moved to Bubble. And we found that Bubble is a more secure platform and really is going to be able to allow us to grow and build that traction as our user bases grow and have that protection for users to know that they're on a quality system and their information is protected since we are a fintech technology. Next slide. Our future plans. So we're really excited for 2021. Of course, with everything going on with Bubble, but we have that big wait list. So we want to build up those memberships, get all of our previous users re-signed up. We're planning on continuing to partner with property management companies. Shout out to Moxie Property Management in Texas, who's been really great with our MVP. 2022, we want to do market expansion. We want to be a corner store. We want to be a marketplace for renters, right? For all of the products. So one of the first products we plan on relaunching after the rent protection is renters insurance, which I'm very proud to say we actually have a current contract pending for that. So we just got to sign on the dotted line and then we can compete with Lemonade and all those other companies that offer renters insurance as well. Next slide. That's it, right? So that's basically PayPads. I know you have a lot of questions. Feel free to send me an email, edward@paypads. Find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, all of the places. And I'm so excited and so humbled to take your questions at this time.
Awesome. Great work, Edward. We're actually, Erica had to leave a little bit early. So Navi, the floor is yours for questions. Navi, you're there.
Sorry about that. I just missed your comment there, your last comment.
Oh, my last comment is that we're, the last slide, we're just excited to be a part of Bubble and to be a part of, thank you for all of your time. And, any questions that you have, let us know. We're really excited just to be able to help people during this time and provide that peace of mind for rent protection for, people and their children or anybody that is in need, basically, with the pandemic going on.
No, awesome, and this is really cool. My question was kind of on the on your bank relationships.
Yes.
What are those like at the moment? Which banks have you kind of already spoken to, and at what stage are you at?
Yeah, so based on NDAs and stuff like that, I can confirm that we have been talking to Cross River Bank, which is a really big bank in the fintech. They power Affirm, they power Earn, they power a lot of other fintech apps that are on the market. We have other banks that we're talking to as far as partnerships, but we're basically ready to get that term sheet, sign that contract, and start offering rent protection to everybody in all 50 states. So we're ready to launch. We just need a little bit of investor money, a little bit of people to believe in us, and we can go to market and really, you know, provide a peace of mind and rent protection for all, which is our ultimate goal.
Oh, awesome. Great job.
Thank you.
And by the way, how difficult was the Plaid integration?
It was pretty difficult. I mean, you know, there's a lot of meetings, there's a lot of regulation and technical stuff that goes into it, but I'm proud that we were able to partner with Plaid. I mean, they've been in the news a lot with, you know, everything with Visa and the acquisition and everything, but at the end of the day, I'm very confident that we've built a platform that people, of course, already want based on the market response and something that people need. So I think Plaid saw that in us and was really excited to partner with us because we're solving a problem that we thought of in 2018, but of course with 2020, sadly it validated us, but at the same time, we're ready to really step up and help those people that need help. So.
Got it. And just one last thing. Any ideas on like, are you guys interested in like CRS integration as well?
Yes, of course. We're open to a majority of integrations. We have a timeline that goes out to 2025, 2026 of additional products that we're going to add to the marketplace and additional integrations as well.
Right. Sierra, just like credit reporting services to like check somebody's credit.
Build people's credit on this, report those rental payments, help them, even if they've just started off, right? A college student, somebody that went through a divorce, anything like that. There's so many options in the marketplace. We really want to be the focal center point in that marketplace to offer all of these services and really create a new environment in 2021 and beyond in order to show the new renters and the old renters, hey, we're here for you. We're not just here for the money, but we really have a passion to protect people based on personal experience.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Navi. Emmanuel?
So have you rebuilt everything in Bubble, or it's still running on some custom code a little bit?
No. We've rebuilt everything on Bubble. And to be honest with you, Emmanuel, I was a little skeptical. I was like, okay, how are we going to do all of this custom coding, Plaid, Stripe, you know, bank integrations, APIs, a lot of regulation, right? It's fintech. So
Yep.
I wanted to make sure we had a secure environment for our users, a secure environment for our bank. And I feel 100% confident in Bubble's capabilities and abilities to power this fintech and to see it through our whole vision and mission, even with the additional products and APIs that we will be building out on Bubble in the future, like renters insurance and other things like that. So thank you, Emmanuel, for believing in us, and thank you guys for trusting in us to do this.
I appreciate it, but I don't need more compliments. I already had enough today. Can you talk about? Yeah, no, that would be bad. Can you talk a little bit about like the loss ratios, like because obviously not everyone's going to pay back. How has it worked so far?
Yeah, so I'll just jump in. So basically, of course, we have Plaid as one of our underwriting, so we get their identity to verify with their bank account, like Bank of America, whatever, that they are who they say they are, to eliminate scammers. And then we also do a 30-day underwriting to look at their transactions and see, okay, do you have a source of income, direct deposit, even unemployment, you know, any sort of income? Have you historically paid your rent through this platform? Have you paid your rent? Is there ACH, is there checks, is there debit cards, other things like that? And so all of that helps us to eliminate people that may not pay back. And then in the event that if we do have people, which, you know, historically we have had about a 2 to 4% ratio of people that maybe didn't pay back, we reach out to them and work with them to set up a payment plan. We say, hey, we're not here to put you in a deeper hole. We want to help you. We want to give you rent protection so you can keep your roof over your head at the end of the day. So if you need to extend that 4 payment that we provide into a 6, 8, or even 12 payment, we'll work with you. We don't want you to go to collections. We don't want to ruin your credit or ruin your hope of building generational wealth and buying a home one day or something like that. We want to protect you and give you the tools that's needed in order to grow and to be financially stable. So even when it comes to that, most people are very receptive to us not just sending them off to collections and having calls, hey, we need to get your money back from PayPads, right? We really want to be able to say, hey, we're here to protect you, to work with you. And if you're willing to work with us, we're willing to work with you. And of course, at the end of the day, if we have to cut losses as tax write-offs or anything like that, we will. But basically, based on the beta and what we've done, we've been able to find a real humane approach to everything and be able to work with everybody to recoup those losses. So.
And how about distributions? Like, it seems like, I'm probably wrong. I mean, you know the business much better than me, but going through lenders could be an interesting avenue for you. Like, what kind of channels have you thought about for distribution?
Well, like I mentioned before, we're currently in talks with Cross River Bank, which is a big fintech bank who will take on that, shared liability and take on, financing the loans and things like that. We're also in talks with other banks based on percentages, right, and liability and other things like that. But so far, what we're looking at is basically allowing, first and foremost, the renter to have access to that capital that is usually socioeconomically not available. People either have to max out their credit cards. Some people write hot checks, some people do other things like that. So we look at it as a partnership with our banks that we're providing some underwriting, we're providing the users, the marketing, the customer acquisition to provide that volume for the bank. And at the end of the day, the bank has our back as well by doing some other underwriting we protect each other in that aspect.
And so acquiring users, how do you do this? Which is kind of what I was mentioning with distribution.
Yeah. So historically, when we first launched our beta in 2019, we did a lot of social media, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and we did a lot of surveys. We just said, hey, rent protection for all. And we've organically gotten a lot of leads. We get leads every single day just from people who are in a desperate situation that says, hey, my rent's on the 1st. I don't get paid until the 7th. I'm going to get a 12% late fee on my $1,000 rent. So that's $120 worth of fees of late fee that I'm going to have to pay if I can't pay my rent by the 1st. And we're offering a $24.99 platform to say, hey, for less than a quarter of that, we'll pay your rent, protect you, and let you split that between your unemployment benefits or between your paycheck or whatever avenue that you have to take. And we're willing to work with you to make sure that your children have a home and they don't have to worry, or you have a home and you don't have to worry. So that's how we're able to move forward in the market and gain that trust and that relatability in order to really prove to people that we're here to protect them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
No, thank you. Thank you for building Bubble to let me be here, right? So don't let our heads get too big, but thank you. I'm very humbled. I'm very, very humbled to be a part of this. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Edward. Thanks, Emmanuel and Navi. The one call out / question from the audience is, have you thought about partnering with US and local governments, as part of the rescue plan and providing this service as well?
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely trying to open up those channels of communication. If I could call Joe Biden and say, hey, we got a solution, I would, but we got to go through local markets and stuff. But we're trying to work with local governments, starting off with like the Los Angeles Housing Authority, like Section 8 people, other people that have guaranteed, payment kind of income and stuff, and work to make sure that their homes are protected. We want to, of course, scale off to like college students with dorms, and then even maybe you want to get into mortgage protection one day, right? Protecting people's homes and investment to build that generational wealth. So we have a whole plan, 5-year, 6-year, 10-year plan, as far as we can go in order to build these out. It just takes time. It takes resources, right? A little bit of investor money. And it just takes passion. And I really believe that I have the passion. Everyone I've talked to can really see the vision of this and understand that we're here to help people and to provide them with an opportunity to see something other than a payday loan, a title loan, pawning your wedding ring because you have to pay your rent. You know what I mean? So we want to be a different avenue. And we believe that because a lot of our competitors are landlord opt-in, right? Like they have to have the landlords opted in. We're the first direct to renter really on the market. So we're excited for that. And we're really hopeful. So if you can see the vision and you can see the passion, the same as we would love to work with you, basically.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edward. So that is our founder pitches. So the judges, we're going to go and deliberate. I'm going to actually hand it off to Kira, who's going to help us pick our fan favorite. And so I'll be back. Emmanuel, Navi, and I, we're going to go and pick some of our winners here. Thank you again to all the founders. We'll be back.
Hello, everyone. So we're going to be doing a little fun polling. I'm going to drop the link now for everyone to join on their phones. Okay, and it's also on the screen. So if you just go to bubblepoll.bubbleapp.io. Or bubblepoll.bubbleapps.io. And I'm dropping that in the chat. Yeah, and then just type in that key as well. Give it a couple more minutes for everyone to get their phones and join. But our first question is going to be, where are you joining us from today? Oh, I see one person in the chat is from Paris. That's awesome. Let's see, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Michigan, Plano, Texas. Is that TJ? Shout out to TJ. He actually built our polling app in Bubble, so it's awesome. Maybe if we refresh, I'm curious to see like where the most people are tuning in from. Well, maybe LA, not sure. But here's our next question. If you were in a band, which member would you be? The electric guitarist, the bass guitarist, drummer, lead singer, or the keyboardist?
There's no roadie?
Oh, maybe that's a secret option. That's a good pick, Rob. So I see it looks like the drummer is winning. Shout out to all the drummers. I play the drums a little bit myself, so I think that would have been my pick too. What else? Our next question is going to be, if you could choose any age group to stay in for the rest of your life, which would it be? 10 and under, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 50, or 50 to 70 and over? So 20 to 30 is winning so far. Honestly, I might have selected 30 to 50. These 20s have been a struggle. I'm ready to maybe chill at like 35 and just have my life together. I see someone commenting, but your bones. We can stay fit, we can stay healthy. It'll work out. Next question, if you won $20 million today, what is the first thing you would buy? I see some comments in the chats. Pay off these loans. I feel that. Yeah, people are buying houses, mansions. I think that's definitely what I would go with too. Pay tithes, student loans, property, land. These are all good responses. Next question. Gotta touch on remote work since this is everyone's life now. So what's your favorite part about working remotely? We'll just give a second for that to load. Cat cuddles 24/7. Oh, that sounds so cute. Close to family, day pajamas, more time, flexibility, no commute. Definitely feel that. Was definitely spending like hours traveling back and forth from like school and work. last year, so I've been enjoying that too. And last but not least, everyone can now vote for their favorite finalist. So we have Kamari from Work for Tomorrow, Alex with Infinite Recruiting, Shamika with Cheap Complex, Edward with PayPads, Train with Masa, and Luther and Wave Mob. It's tough competition. Everyone did so great. And then we're not going to be displaying those results just yet. We're going to save that till the end when we make all the final announcements. And next, we're just going to be showing a awesome promo video we made with people from the cohort.
What inspired me to join Immerse was I felt like I needed the ability to. What inspired me to join Immerse for myself. I felt like I needed the most important the ability to make my vision come true for myself.
I think the most important part about just this entire process in itself is starting something and not giving up and being able to build something that your name is on, that you put in the work to do, and being proud of it at the end of the day.
All you need for this immersion program is to know what you want your application, or just know what your idea is. From there, the class will teach you everything else.
I was really, really attracted to Bubble as a tool, and Immerse, is just another benefit layer on top of all of that.
The biggest thing is the community too. Like, I have people, and it's virtual, which is crazy. Like, people reach out to me now, like, where are you at? Like, how are you doing? Like, I have people help me with the homework. So like, already you can see like how Bubble has created, like, or Immerse specifically, a community around entrepreneurs, even through virtual, which is amazing that they could do that.
You can ask and there's someone there to help you. Not only an instructor, but then that community you build, and you're learning the best practices of how to use the community, the Bubble community in general, with the forums, everything, so that you are well versed.
Don't be shy to ask questions. There's so much help out there, and be excited that, you're building on basically the future of, coding. So it's really great.
It gives you the opportunity to, like I said, just have the control of being able to create something, bringing your vision to life. And it really makes you feel fulfilled and satisfied once you know that you can, accomplish anything just by trying to do something that's challenging and outside of your, your wheelhouse, so to say.
Yay!
Hi, everyone. I just want to chime in and say that if you want to ask questions about Bubble and the Immerse program, now's the time to do it. We have a lot of people on board. I don't know if the judges are going to be back yet, but I think I will ping them and see. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you have questions for the panelists as well, this is now the time that didn't get answered. Drop them into the chat. Make sure you are on panelists and attendees so that everyone can see your question. Otherwise, you'll just be chatting to panelists, which is totally fine. But if you want other people to see your questions, that's how you can do that. So Kira, if you want to take some of the answers about Immerse, let us know people were going.
Yeah, let me start looking through. Also, feel free to jump in if you see anything, Rob.
I will start with the answer of where you can find all the people who presented. We will be posting this video recording on our YouTube, and I believe after the webinar, there will be like a post webinar email, so you can request permissions. Some of them are in the chat, so if they want their information disclosed, they can share that here. I think Edward has shared that as well. So that's probably the best way to do it. So if the presenters want to, share their information, they can do so in chat.
Seems like there's a lot of interest about when the next Immerse program starts.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know that, Kira?
So we're still planning out when we are going to have our next cohort, but we're hoping to have another one running like late summer or in the fall. So just keep an eye out on Bubble's social media pages and like also the Immerse homepage to see like when we're going to be accepting applications again. As far as the process and like participating, you would just go on the Immerse website, apply. You're just going to ask a couple, or we're going to ask a couple of questions like about your name, your company idea, like kind of what stage you're at right now, what problem are you trying to solve, things like that. And then you'd also submit a wireframe, which is pretty much just like paper outlining the app you want to build and how you want things to work and flow. So it's a pretty simple process. From there, we'll just reach out to people.
There's a question about what startup knowledge was a part of the program. Clearly, bring what you have, bring what you have, but we do try to cover all different topics in the program, and we bring in different founders to answer questions and folks from funding organizations and all different places to get questions answered so that people can feel comfortable about this journey. It's being in a startup is a very interesting and challenging and different kind of experience. So even if you think you know, a lot of times there are still questions, right? So I always encourage people, even if they don't think they could do it, a lot of times that's where the great ideas come from, right? We always say that the great ideas come from the edges, not the center.
I see one question that says, is it open to international candidates? We did actually have a person in our in this cohort who was based in London. So it is open to everyone to apply, but the time difference could be a bit of a thing, but feel free to apply. I think it's a great idea. Oh, you're on mute, Rob.
Question here about building on Bubble for the app stores. So natively, Bubble doesn't build on, you can't submit to the app stores, but what you can do is you wrap your app using there are lots of different tools out there to do it. And some of them are actually free. So the ones that aren't free are inexpensive. And then you can submit to the app stores that way.
Great. It looks like the judges are back.
All right. Hi, everyone. I know we're a few minutes behind here, but it's always hard to, pick the winners in folks that have worked so hard. Before we pick the winners, I want to just thank Shamika. Really great work. Really appreciate you being here. Luther, Edward, Trank, Mari, and Alex. Make sure I got everyone. And Trang, of course. So we have, and of course our judges, thank you so much to Erica, Navi, and Emmanuel. We appreciate being here, and Kira for running their fan favorite, and of course Vivian, has been driving this full time. So now for the winners. So Kira, you want to announce the fan favorite?
Okay. Our fan favorite is Edward. Oh. Edward at PayPads. Yay!
Congratulations.
Awesome. Yay.
Thank you, guys. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. All right. So we, the judges, had a little bit of a tough spot on the best product. And so this is the first time for us doing this. So there's a tie for best product. So best product is Luther from Wave Mob and Trang from Masa. So you win 1 year of Bubble for free. So thank you so much.
Thank you all. I'm super appreciative.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Both great deal, actually.
Good problem to have, right? And all right, for our winner for best pitch It is Edward. Congrats. So we will be in touch with you. Emmanuel and Avi and myself and Kira will be chatting with you offline about next steps. So thank you so much to everyone. Edward, any last thoughts? And then we'll have Emmanuel close.
Honestly, thank you all to all of the instructors, Marielle, Rob, everybody that's helped me with the feedback. Thank you for helping me get to where I needed to be. Thank you to Bubble. I'm really humbled and grateful to God and to the Immerse, everybody, for allowing me to be here. And I really hope that we can really get together with some of the participants and really get, pay pads out there for the masses and really provide rent protection for all. So again, humbly, thank you all. And build with Bubble, guys. It's the future. Go for it, nothing to lose. So keep going. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Edward. I'll pass it off to Emmanuel, but I just want a huge shout out again especially to Kira and Rob. We've, been meeting every day to get where we are today. So thank you so much for your hard work. So Emmanuel, I'll let you close it off. And thanks so much to the audience. We've had over 220 people throughout today. So thanks so much. It's 2 hours long. And so we thank you so much for hanging out and watching what you can build with Bubble. So Emmanuel?
Yeah, thank you for having me speak the last. It's hard to add more to what Edward just said. Thank you very much for the testimonial here. This is, this is really why we're doing this. This is why the whole team is working hard on this. Is for these kind of moments and seeing, people being empowered by the tool is something truly humbling. It was tough to pick the winners, and truth being told, all products, I'm impressed by the level of quality we're seeing cohort after cohort here. What people have been building is really slick over a few weeks. And it's a great testimonial of the product, but it's also, again, very humbling when we start seeing people using, our product more and more in some circumstances. So congratulations, everyone. I hope, we can support you in the long run. Winners, not winners, everyone, in fact. Reach out to us, we're in the same boat here. Your successes are our success here. We'll only succeed if you guys succeed. And so let us know whatever we can do to help. Thank you very much for everyone who came. I want to say a personal thank to the team who organized that, and Kira, Marielle, Rob, Vivian behind the scene. Thank you. And Yao is out, but he was very active in this at the beginning of the cohort. So I want to thank everyone. It's a lot of work, what comes out after 2 hours on Zoom sounds like it's 2 hours on Zoom, but effectively it's been tens and tens of hours before that, working with the different people in the cohort, but also, the planning around the event in particular. I think we actually did more participants than last time, which is great, actually. So this is it's tough. That means the next one we need even more, but this is what we're here for. So thank you very much, everyone. But that
50% more participants. So
yeah, if you compound 50% every time, this is going to become the Super Bowl.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun, right? So, well, thank you very much for who came, and we hope to see you around soon.
Thank you, everyone.